So I was at the Kennedy Center recently, saw Riverdance, now in its 30th year, the Irish tap dancers. Really impressive, but just days later, Vance and his wife, Vice President Vance, and his wife went to a musical performance at the same Kennedy Center. I think it's one room down from where I was. And he snuck into the back. Wasn't making a scene or anything, right? He didn't really want to be noticed from the way he came in late. Seems like it was incognito. And people noticed him there. They all started booing. All these bespectacled Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head DC bureaucrats who were enjoying what looked like a classical concert all turned around like zombies and booed at our duly elected vice president. Donald Trump, your president. JD Vance, your vice president. So they turn around, they boo. And it's like, how dare these folks? We get it, you're angry because Elon Musk and the administration are turning off your USAID scam. But how dare you not do anything other than run away in shame and beg for our forgiveness, beg for the American people's forgiveness, all the money and resources you've wasted. It came out just recently. Sorry, I need my morning coffee here. It came out just recently that $28 million dollars in the final days of the Biden administration, 28 million bucks was wired to a couple of former Biden staffers who set up a vaccine company, and they had the money sent to a PO box. These two Biden staffers, neither of them are biomedical geniuses. And as someone who has briefly researched the vaccine industry, just as an investor, I did my due diligence. Usually vaccine companies, there's a big footprint. There's a corporate headquarters because they need lobbyists and regulators to come on a regular basis. So usually a very big corporate headquarters compared to other industries. Obviously a huge footprint in terms of the R&D labs, usually span, many thousands of feet. And it has to be zoned appropriately. There are different levels of biosecurity. So very big structures is the point. You can't run a vaccine company out of a fucking PO box in a UPS store. So what we're looking at here is just fraud, just stealing from the American taxpayer. And we were told that this is something we have to do to keep our empire strong. You have to pay taxes or you go to prison. And here it's going to theft. It's going to mediocrities, mediocre Biden staffers who basically ran this guy's social media, basically posted some Instagram pics of the White House. And then they get sent $28 million for, quote, vaccine research, and it's going to a PO box. That means more than likely that money is going straight into somebody's checking account. It's not going to vaccine research. It's not going to research and development labs. It's not going to human trials. It's going to a PO box, and somebody's cashing that check. These people should go to prison. None of them have yet. Everybody's saying what a great job Pam Bondi is doing. I don't know. It's already the middle of March, and I haven't seen her arrest anybody. And she's made it her vocal focus to crack down on, quote, anti-Semitism at California colleges. The hurt feelings of some Israelis, the hurt feelings of some foreigners should not be the top priority of the incoming Attorney General when we're demanding answers on Epstein Island and we're demanding punishment for this mass theft of the American people. And that brings me to my next topic. Some people said that I was too critical in my last update about Trump wanting to eliminate taxes on earners below $150,000. Hey, it's a good start. Shouldn't you be happy? No, that's my whole point is it's not enough. You can say it's a good start, and I agree with that. It's simply not enough. And with inflation the way it is, maybe in a few years or maybe in 10 years, worst case scenario, maybe in a decade, $150,000 is only worth $70K of today's money. Maybe it's worth less. Maybe it only buys you $50,000 of real stuff in the future, right? This is the issue when you fly on an aircraft, by the way, and customs customs makes you declare if you're carrying more than $10,000 in currency or monetary instruments. That law was made when 10,000 bucks was a lot of money, when nobody was carrying $10,000. That would be like saying you have to declare above $100,000 today, if not more. But now everybody has to fill out the paperwork or risk getting in trouble for an amount that, again, is completely obsolete and isn't the original intent when they passed that law. It was, again, considered something where you only fill out paperwork if you're moving a lot of money. And $10,000 back then was a lot. So I don't think he goes far enough. I think if you're going to eliminate income taxes, you should eliminate income taxes. If you're now taking in money from all these tariffs, which have shaved trillions of dollars off the stock market, which, as I explained in the last episode, is where most Americans' money comes from. They don't have money sitting under the mattress. They don't have money in a bank account. Their value comes from the stocks and ETFs they hold, either directly or through a retirement account or pension of some kind. The money is simply not sitting in FDIC-insured bank accounts. It's sitting in stock valuations. So stock market down by trillions. It had a great day yesterday. Big recovery day. Even I made money. Really big recovery day. But again, it doesn't undo the consistent burden that now exists. Now we have tariffs on various products. We might for many years. And then you look at where the money was spent to all these Kennedy Center mediocrities who are booing our vice president. These people are pissed off because they can no longer steal from us. How dare you? Pissed off because they've lost their office jobs, wiring hundreds of millions of dollars to male circumcision clinics in Africa and transgender mice programs and gain of function research. Let's not forget that even after the pandemic, they didn't turn off the faucet of money that was going to making stronger viruses. Absolute imbeciles. Not only should they not be booing our vice president, they should be in prison. How is it that in the Biden years, if you, received more than $900 in Venmo tips and you didn't report it properly on your taxes, they would look into you. They would, pick apart everything you've ever done, and it would take months to get to the bottom of it. $900. And of course, the Biden era, how they were so against crypto use. If you were an American tech company, well, you're not using crypto, are you? They were deranged about it, completely fucking deranged. It's like, well, I'm receiving a Bitcoin payment, so I guess I am. What are you going to do about it? You're not using crypto, are you? It was totally demented. They wanted an enemy they thought they could beat. And Elizabeth Warren one day cooked up this idea of her anti-crypto army, which incidentally is backed by some of the nation's largest banks who, stand to lose a lot if person-to-person payments take off. Because, of course, you don't need a bank to use crypto. That's the whole thing. It's no bank required. So, it was a really kind of horrible era, actually. And these fucking people at the Kennedy Center have the nerve to boo our new vice president when he's a trillion times better than his predecessor, a trillion times the statesman and orator that she was. You could tell she wasn't comfortable with herself. Some people just aren't really comfortable with who they are. You could tell she was a person who didn't even like the sound of her own voice. That's not a leader. It really isn't. And again, they decided they would beat up on crypto because they wanted an enemy that they thought they could defeat, and then have their media circuit tell us what great avengers of the public they are. We got rid of those greedy crypto bros. And they failed. They lost. Elizabeth Warren is most likely not going to be reelected. And her little Praetorian Guard at the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, it's all going away. I mean, they picked a fight and they lost. One of Trump's biggest support areas in Silicon Valley was, of course, cryptocurrency. Those crypto bros defeated you guys fair and square. And what a weird thing to pick as your enemy number one. People wanting to use person-to-person payments to get away from the total usury and total Ponzi scheme that's the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank, for that matter. Just its newer, peer. People trying to get away from that or build some kind of redundancy into their business so they're not totally reliant on the failing dollar and the even faster failing euro. And these people came after them. Anybody who tried to advance crypto use in the United States during the Biden years was at a risk of great regulatory harm. I'm not exaggerating. The way the SEC went after all these crypto startups and piled essentially hundreds of millions of dollars of legal costs on top of them. these lawsuits that take years and lead nowhere. Just absolute scammers. And then on their way out, again, they wire themselves $28 million for vaccine research companies based out of a fucking P.O. box. Absolute scammers. And they have the nerve to turn around and boo our vice president. I'd say I can't believe it, but I so can. Just like how they've transformed the brand image of a Tesla. From the Tesla is the best car you can buy. It's for rich people. It's for celebrities. It's for people who care about the environment. They've transformed that into now it's some Nazi spaceship, and little kids point at it, and moms, try to hide their children's eyes when a Tesla passes by. Nazi spaceship. This is what the leftoid media has rebranded the Tesla into. And so for that reason, I'm buying a second one this week. I guess I am a groupie at the end of the day because I'm buying a Model S just to show my support, just to say, hey, you leftoids don't really control anything. You're trying to rebrand the greatest car in America as a Nazi sled when people are driving around happily in VWs and BMWs. Look into who founded VW. Look into who the workers were at BMW. In the 40s, who was building the BMWs back then. Look into it. And these know-nothings have the nerve to claim that Elon Musk is a Nazi when he's simply getting rid of their, I won't even say graft. This is theft, mass theft of the American people. And so, yeah, I think no income taxes would be nice, or at least a tax jubilee for a year or two. Give people a tax holiday, keep the structure in place, and just put all the deadlines, forward by a year or two. Because the people have been abused for so long, how can you pay into this? How can you pay into knowing that your money, at least for now, is going to fake vaccine research company carve-outs made by Biden staffers, and it's going to transgendering animals, to torturing animals? I still don't understand why transgender stuff became the holiest of holies for the left. All the issues in this world and gender mutilation, not being against it, not being wildly against it, and vocally in resistance, but being for it, sending money toward it, talking about it constantly, promoting it, making it seem cool, making it seem forward thinking. How did that become such a focus for the left? As I keep saying, I don't see these people getting back in the White House in 4 years. I don't see it happening in 8 years. I don't see it happening in 20 years. They've got to completely retool their party from the ground up, and they're doing the opposite. They're doubling down on all the stupid shit that drove us away.